Hi guys, so we're going to do today's weekly tarot reading. So this will be a reading for the week. It deals with a little bit of what's going on in the world, but still things that are pertinent for you as you are watching this read. Now, the very first cards are interesting. The first card is the Devil. Oh great, this is my weekly tarot reading, the Devil. And then what is crossing is the Hermit. So we have a lot of people are really feeling very restricted, because this is especially the Devil. He also chains the lovers. He very much restricts and makes you feel that you are trapped. That is one of the things he does. But there also is a lot of temptation with the Devil and so forth too, you know. So he makes you feel kind of trapped in certain temptations. And then we have the Hermit. A lot of you are in isolation and so forth. So when I kind of look at this makes me feel there is definitely a negative influence that is going to be kind of coming out through the week. I'm not necessarily saying it's pertinent in your life, but in the world right now, we're going to go into a little more darker stuff. I have a feel it's going to be a little bit of a dark week for some things that are coming out in the news, which I am kind of looking into. And that is also dealing with the self-isolation. I feel like we're going to see some leaders that are really going to be going at it. I've also got the Seven of Wands to really go on the offense, which I talked about in my last read. And then I've got the Nine of Wands, which is a defensive card. But it is in the reverse position. So I have a feeling there may be some things coming up, with our leaders. There may be some accusations. And through these accusations, they may be difficult to defend them. They will try, but I feel like they will have a difficult time defending them. Now, where I'm kind of leaning on that with this defense, I do have the King of Cups. Now, this card has been, because Biden is a Scorpio, has been showing for Biden. He is at the foundation. So I have a feeling some kind of assault, you could say, is going to come from the Trump camp that is going to attack him in some way. And I have a feeling, seeing this in a reverse position, it may be difficult for him to defend himself in some way when he is dealing with these accusations. So I have a feeling something is going to come out, or I don't know if it's going to be some TV ads or something, but I feel like a hard hit that may be difficult for him to be able to deal with. Below the Seven of Wands is also the Eight of Wands. Now, this is the Corona card. You guys have seen me talk about this. It's a very swift moving card. Just as the virus is very swift and going, it is not in a reverse position. So the cases are going to go up. See how it goes up? The cases are going to go up and they're going to get really swift. So I feel like more challenges, that are going to be doing this, but we need to, and I see that Hermit card, self-isolate as much as possible. It's going to be tempting to kind of, want to get away from those restrictions, you could say. But we need to be patient during this time. I also have the Temperance card. So this is a hard one. This is the crux of the problem for many people right now in this country, is being patient, that understanding that, everything is on Spirit's watch. That's ultimately the way it is. Everything is on Spirit's watch, as far as when we're never going to get back to normal, but get some kind of a new normal type of situation where things get better, I guess we could say, that we're really on Spirit's watch. And there are those that really want to push that. And they really want to push that. And we just can't do this during this time. Now, I do also have the Four of Swords in the reverse position. I wanted to show it to you upright, though, so you could kind of look at it. But it's especially about kind of like retreat, contemplate your next move, and so forth before you kind of go out and journey into the world. Let's heal first. This is what it kind of makes me feel. There is people that are getting out there. They've been stricken with COVID, or they may be asymptomatic, but they are not retreating long enough. Let's put it that way. They're doing the healing. Three of Swords is very much a healing card. They should stay in longer, because they still have symptoms even if they think they have healed, and they are coming out and infecting others. This is a big problem. If you by chance are one of those people who may have got it, if you're watching my video, yes, I got it, this, that, but you've done that 14 days and you're feeling better, really take another week or something, because we're still learning about all this, and it's really important to be very careful during this time with everything that is going on. But yes, I have a feel that there are those, when I see that card, which is very much a retreat card, that there are those who got it, and then they're still, where they should have stayed in a retreat, they are coming out. Or maybe people are asymptomatic and, or they were exposed to someone and they were told to retreat and they're not doing it. So I think that's one of the things that we need to kind of prepare for, that there are people that are not listening, as far as that, to retreat. They're not doing it. Eight of Cups is in the reverse position. We kind of talked about this last week. It also came up. We want to just kind of get out there and go on the journey. We want to be free. Now, it shows up again, but look at the moon. In the Eight of Cups, pretty much all of them will show the moon, and the clouds are kind of dark, but they're starting to kind of move away. The moon is being exposed a lot more. And this is one of the things with everything that is going on in the world, is certain things are coming to light and are being exposed. They were masked for a little bit, and hidden. And maybe people kind of wondered, yeah, there's something behind that cloud. There has been, I know, some stirs on social media about various things, but there's still an obscurity there. One of the messages I kind of get from this is, as you are seeing these things come up on social media and in the news and so forth, be careful rushing to judgment on what you see, because you're not getting the whole picture. Things are coming to light. You are correct. So if there is even something in your basic inner world, aside from, politics, but certain things are going to start coming to light that you were kind of suspicious of, that you're starting to realize. But pretty soon that cloud is going to move away and things are going to be painfully obvious. But I do have in the reverse position. So as far as, getting out and going on the journey, Spirit definitely has a lot of things saying retreat, retreat. I've got the Hermit, I've got the Four of Swords, and then the Eight of Cups, reverse position. There is definitely before we make our next move, get all the facts. Let's put it that way. That's the best way I can put that with the messages that I'm getting. Before you make that move, it's going to be very tempting, per the devil, to act. It's going to be very tempting to go do something. It's going to be very tempting to act on information you are receiving, but there is still a cloud cover going on. You don't have all the facts. Even I, as a reader, I realize I'm dealing with that cloud. So I want to step back. This week is I'm going to be stepping back. I'm not necessarily going to act on certain information that's coming, because it could be false. So I'm going to kind of step back here and be kind of calm. Now, a lot of, in your position, guys, if anybody has been struggling financially, I've got the Ten of Pentacles. That kind of makes me feel some of you are going to get in a little bit better place. I feel some of you that have been, if you're watching my reading, if you have been wanting to get a job or waiting on some money to come in, it should be coming in for you. So this is a very beneficial card to have in your guys' position. So I feel like if you're watching, if you've been waiting on something to come through, it's finally going to get here. So be happy about that, which is good. I've got the Six of Cups in the reverse position. So I know that for a lot of you, your children are getting restless. There has been a lot of talk about taking them back to school and so forth. And a lot of you are very anxious about that. And I would be anxious about that. Numbers don't lie. Just because they say, oh, well, only a certain percentage would actually die. Hey, let's think about that. Okay, when you add up big numbers of 330 million people and then such a percentage are children, we gotta want to think on that and be very cautious. I'm feeling the need to draw a card. And then I just drew the High Priestess. So I know a lot of you who are watching are intuitives yourself, are readers yourself. I like the fact that it's upright. And I'm kind of dealing with that situation where I was kind of saying, you know, this information, I feel like people are going to be deceived, and I feel like people are going to, we're going to kind of see them all over social media and various things acting on certain information when they don't necessarily have all the facts, acting on information that is going, that, you know, things are very obscure, and it almost feels intentional to fool people when I'm kind of tuning in here. Like, I feel an intent that I want to fool people and get them to act based on information that isn't necessarily true. And so this is where my intuitives really need to be sharp during this time. You know, as the high priestess, just be very careful and go within for the answers, because the answers outside of you are obscure. But if you go to the inner voice, then they won't be so obscure. Then you will have the correct information. But definitely, this is not the time to take hard action. You're going to see people and our leaders kind of going at it, and I feel like it's going to be based on things that aren't necessarily true. And there's going to be some things that are coming up that are going to be a little bit wacky. So we want to be careful during this time. Another card I do have is the Two of Wands. As you can see, there is two wands. There's two paths. We've got kind of a bright, we want to go down that path. See how everything is bright between the two mountains, the crack between the worlds. We want to get there. We don't want to necessarily go down the dark ways here and get all lost and confused. So the important message during this time is we want to be careful as we're proceeding on this journey to not get lost. And as we're dealing with all this confusion that is going on in the world, we don't want to confuse ourselves even more. So one of the messages definitely this week is don't get lost on the path. Keep your eye on the light at all times, which is very important. My end cards for the week. The one is Page of Swords, which is about receiving news. So I feel like some kind of news is going to pop up in the news. Some kind of information we're going to get, which is kind of based on all this stuff. Now, the page, sometimes when the news comes, is something we don't necessarily like, but it will be some kind of news that will affect us. But see the Four of Cups in the reverse position. Let me go ahead and turn it upright. He's kind of like, you know, not really wanting to pay attention too much to that cup being offered. So there is going to be a little bit of ignoring of what is coming through. So I feel we get some kind of information, and then we're kind of dismissing something. But that is the hand of God handing this cup through. So I feel like there are going to be those that dismiss this hand. So be prepared for that. So yes, that definitely does seem to be my message this week. And I know even, you know, last week on social media, there was all kinds of stuff that I was seeing that people were getting very caught up in. And it feels very intentional to me to get you guys caught up. So we want to be just very discerning during this time. Be real sharp. You know, be like the high priestess during this time as all these things come out. And a lot of it does have to do with this, you know, leaders going at it, trying to win you over and so forth, you know, really trying to win you over during this time. And then, of course, the messages that I have been giving, you know, I definitely get a lot of retreat messages for you guys. We still got to realize this is a problem. Corona is still going up during this time. It's going up. I do not know exactly when it's going to go down. It started to go down, but I remember I predicted on it in my group that during May, people would start opening, and then it was going to go whoop, 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 whoop. And of course, what do you expect it to do? You know, what do you expect it to go down? What do we expect? So be prepared for that, guys. And let's draw some oracle cards for you guys as well before I go. And this is perfect that I draw this with this read. Epiphany, seek clarity. So yes, as we're dealing with all this information that's going to be coming out, this deception, you could say, and that's one of the things, the devil, the very first card, is a deceiver. You know, there are those that want to deceive us during this time. So we really need to seek clarity, epiphany, you know, use that high priestess skill, you know, and be very cautious. Anything positive. And then some of you that may have been dealing with anything with loved ones, memories, cherish memories of loved ones during this time. And I would even, if any of you are mediums or in contact with your loved ones, maybe you talk to them for a little bit, and ask them for guidance. And I hope you guys enjoyed my reading.